Hello and welcome to The Explainer. You know, if you've ever felt like you're just buried under a mountain of project paperwork, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dig into a framework called ADPA. It uses AI to flip that script, to turn the burden of documentation into a really powerful strategic asset. So let's see how it actually works. So if you're a project manager, a business analyst, this question probably hits a little too close to home, right? You're there trying to push projects forward, trying to keep all your stakeholders aligned, manage all the risks, but you're just constantly getting bogged down by the sheer volume of documents you have to create and update and track. It feels like a hamster wheel you can't get off of. And you know what? That feeling is backed up by some pretty shocking data. Research shows that project managers and analysts can spend up to 40% of their time on administrative work that really doesn't add any value. We're talking about the tedious stuff. Copying and pasting updates, chasing down approvals, reformatting reports over and over. That's almost 2 full days a week, gone. Just imagine what you could actually achieve with that time back in your pocket. Yeah, and this slide really lays out the domino effect of all that manual work. When your documents aren't clear, you get stakeholder misalignment, and boom, that leads to costly rework. All that manual copy-pasting, it creates bottlenecks that just slow everybody down. Different teams using different templates creates a mess of quality issues. And when critical info is stuck in different document silos, updates get missed, which turns audits into an absolute nightmare. But what if there was a smarter way to do all this? Well, that's exactly where the ADPA framework comes into play. It's designed to tackle this whole documentation mess head-on by completely rethinking the process from the ground up. So what is it exactly? Well, think of ADPA as the super intelligent engine for all your project documentation. It's built to automate the entire lifecycle. We're talking from the moment you draft a project charter all the way through to making sure it meets the strictest compliance standards. The goal here is simple. Make your documents work for you, not the other way around. And look, this isn't just some theory. Real PMO directors like Sarah Johnson here are already seeing the impact. By letting ADPA analyze their existing documents, they're getting an instant, data-driven look at their project management maturity, which helps them pinpoint exactly where they need to focus their improvements. Okay, so this all sounds pretty fantastic, but how does it actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look at how ADPA can turn a messy folder of documents into clear, actionable intelligence. The whole process is designed to be incredibly simple. You just start by securely uploading your existing project documents, your project charters, risk registers, all that stuff. Then the AI gets to work analyzing the content, and seriously, within minutes, you get back this full report with quality scores and concrete, actionable recommendations. Now, the real magic behind all this is a technology called baseline entity extraction. See, instead of just reading words on a page, the AI actually understands their meaning within a project context. So, for instance, it knows the difference between the word risk, mentioned casually in some meeting minutes, and a formal risk that's listed in your official risk register. It automatically pulls out these key pieces of info, scope, risks, milestones, and builds the structured digital baseline of your entire project. And this right here is where it becomes a game changer for big companies. ADPA is already pre-trained on all the key industry standards. So if your PMO lives and breathes the PMBOK guide, or your BAs use BA book, the AI already knows what good looks like. And the same goes for critical regulations like GDPR or SOX. It automatically checks your documents against these standards. It's kind of like having a tiny, super efficient compliance officer built right into your workflow. But look, ADPA is about so much more than just generating clean documents. It's really about enabling a fundamental shift in how you work, moving towards proactive project control. I gotta say, this is one of my favorite slides because it shows the leap forward so clearly. The old way is all reactive. You're manually running reports to find problems after they've already happened. The ADPA way is about automated drift detection. Because the AI has that digital baseline of your scope and schedule, it can constantly monitor everything and alert you in real time if things are starting to go off track. It turns project management from an exercise in looking in the rearview mirror into a forward-looking discipline. And that proactive approach carries right over to resource management. By pulling data from all these different sources, the system gives you a live dashboard. You can track your budget to stop overspending before it starts, monitor your team's velocity against your project burndown, and see exactly where your most critical people are allocated. It gives you the real-time data you need to make way smarter decisions about your team and your money. And all of this leads to one huge benefit: being audit ready always. Every single change, every approval is logged in what's called an immutable audit trail, which means it's a permanent, unchangeable record. So when an auditor shows up and asks for proof of your change control process, you're not spending weeks digging through old emails. You can just generate a complete, accurate report on demand. Talk about peace of mind. All right, this all sounds really impressive, but what does it actually mean for the bottom line? Let's take a look at the real, tangible business impact that a system like this can deliver. First up, just pure efficiency. Organizations that implement ADPA are targeting a 50% reduction in the time it takes to produce all that project documentation. That frees up your most valuable people, your project managers and your analysts, to stop doing paperwork and start focusing on delivering actual value. And that time saved, it translates directly into cold, hard cash. Based on average salaries, giving all that admin time back to just one project manager can save a company over $5,000 a year. Now, just think about scaling that across an entire department. The numbers, they get big really fast. And when you factor everything in, the reduced rework because everyone's aligned, the massive efficiency gains, avoiding those costly compliance penalties, well, the business case projects a 3-year return on investment of 300%. Now, that is the kind of strategic impact that gets an executive's attention. Because ultimately, a framework like ADPA isn't just about improving one little process. It aligns directly with core business objectives. You're building a more efficient, a more accurate, and a more compliant organization really from the ground up by automating all that manual work and embedding quality checks right into your workflow. So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. If that 40% of time that's currently lost to administrative churn was suddenly handed back to you and your team, what could you accomplish? What are those bigger, more strategic goals you could finally go after? That, right there, is the real promise of intelligent automation. Thanks for joining us today.